than practical, way more than merely factual. If you wanna know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to girls behaving metaphysically. Listen to girls behaving metaphysically.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience. Join Robin Rice and Sumaya Wood for this week's adventure.
Hey everyone, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Cheers. Here's to
Cheers.
Friday. Okay.
What's in your glass?
Herbal iced tea. What's in yours?
Lime water with a little bit of honey.
Oh, ooh, see that little spiritual twist you have on it?
A little bit of honey.
Nice. I got to tell you, I know
go.
we say this often.
Tell me.
I love that song.
I know, me too.
It makes me so happy. We are so grateful for Ray Davis, who wrote that song and recorded it and sang it. He's a genius, a creative, brilliant musician. And yes. I love him. And thank you.
Thank you,
not to mention
what?
Yeah, not to mention the voice of the NFL.
I know, right? We kind of lucked out with that for our voiceover intro is also the voice of the NFL, Leonard Dozier.
Yes, so big thanks.
He'll be doing a new one soon for Super Bowl. He's done the Super Bowl highlights reel for, I think this is his 5th year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
We should have him on one time.
That would be awesome.
Right?
That would be awesome. And today we are kicking off February. And what is our theme, Robin?
Our theme is Eat, Love, Pray.
But that's backwards.
No, it's in perfect order. Everything is in divine order. It's Eat, Love, Pray. And even though it sounds like it should be something else, that's what it is. So there you have it.
It's our personal GBM twist to that old classic. But today, I know it's our own honey. Oh, I like it. And today we have a very special guest. Should we bring her on?
We should, but we should also tell them to hashtag and do the thing.
Oh, yeah, I always forget. Well, let's do that and do the thing. You're so technical. So, yes, if you are joining us live, just say hello in the comments. Let us know that you are here. And if you are catching us on the replay, just type in hashtag replay in the comments and let us know that you caught the show. And with that, now, do I have permission?
You do, but let me one more second, because I just want to say, last week I noticed we had a lot of comments on Facebook.
Yes, they didn't show up on our thing, and so we missed them, and our apologies. But I've got backup now this week to make sure. So if anybody's watching on Facebook, just say hello just so we can know that comments are showing up, because we were getting YouTube comments but not Facebook comments last week in our little
we want comments from everywhere
in our studio.
All right, now you can
do I have permission? You're so bossy today.
I know.
Hey Rodney, thanks for playing along. Glad you're here. Okay, now introducing Reverend Cindy Edelson. Woo, Cindy!
Hello.
Hello.
Great to be here with you, both of you. I love your banter between the two of you. You're so cute and funny.
Oh, thanks. Oh, and hey, Carol, and hey, Bonnie joined us as well. Thanks for tuning in. And Robin, you want to introduce Rev Cindy for everyone watching?
I would love to introduce Rev Cindy.
Yay!
So Cindy has been a practitioner and a spiritual counselor since 2002. And so she's been a practitioner almost 20 years. And that passion that she has has paved the way for 2 blossoming ministries, because that's Cindy. She can't just do one thing. She does a multitude of things.
Little overachiever.
A little bit.
She does it. She does them well, I will say, from personal experience. And she has one ministry called Letting It Go, which helps people declutter not only their lives, but their emotions and their beliefs and their stuff and whatever it is that no longer serves them. And then another one called Letting It Flow, which I love, providing a space to create art from the heart and teaching like paint parties and different spiritual principles that help clear the path for that flow. And now she also just recently graduated from Agape University in Southern California, and is a newly licensed practitioner. However, she's been a newly licensed minister. She's been ministering for a couple of years there at Agape, an intern minister. And I have to say, I really left the ministering part for last, because what I know about Reverend Cindy is she takes the word minister to a whole nother level, because she's really always ministering to people, and just her calm and her love and her way of being really just does open up a path for people to fall into that space of love and infinite possibility of who they are. So I am very excited to welcome not only this amazing woman who is my friend, Cindy Edelson.
Yay, welcome, Cindy.
Thank you for having me and asking me and inviting me. It's great to be here with you and everybody watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're watching from, whether it's now or in the future. It's all fantastic that we get to meet in this way.
I know. I love technology mostly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
I certainly know that, because I was in the technology sector for many years. I did 40 years almost in the corporate world, and I sold technology for graphic arts companies, and
very cool.
And supported it. So it's a love-hate relationship. It's great when it works.
Yep.
I know. I know.
We get to get over ourselves when it doesn't work and keep moving on.
Exactly.
That's just the great metaphor for life, getting over ourselves and keep moving on, right?
Exactly.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
Sister.
I know we have a lot of people that want to learn how to do that out there. So I'm excited to start talking about this, Sue Morter and everything. Hi, Bonnie. Bonnie's joining us from Ireland.
Oh,
Bonnie
wow.
from Ireland?
Yep.
You buried the lead. Fun.
So tell us a little bit about your work and what it is.
So my work, when I entered into ministerial school, one of the teachers they brought to our class was Dr. Sue Morter. And she did a class just for us. And here's the funny piece is I met Dr. Sue years ago at a conference. I heard her speak, and I wasn't ready at that time for her message and what she was teaching. I thought she was cool. I thought it was interesting, but it just didn't resonate the way it did fast forward when I met her in that class. And the minute I heard what she was teaching, it was an instant, that's exactly what I want for my tool belt for my letting it go business, because that was also a new venture. And what I was up against were people saying, I want to let it go. And yet they didn't have the willingness to let it go. So they'd say, I want to let it go, and yet they weren't letting it go. And the reason I so enjoy Dr. Sue's work and these practices, which we'll talk more about in a little bit, is that it works on the subconscious beliefs that we might not even be aware of that keep us from not moving forward or not letting go or not doing whatever you fill in the blank. And I actually had to, or I can rephrase that, I got to write a thesis for the first time in my life. And I utilized a lot of Dr. Sue's teachings because I did her teachings at the same time I went to ministerial school. So the 4 years that I was in school, I was also in Dr. Sue Energy Code School. And I did everything possible that she offered and became a master trainer of her work. So what I want to say about the energy codes is it's powerful. And it's a way to grab the weeds under the soil that you can't even see. It's a way to live your life that gets you out of your mind. Not to say the mind is a bad thing, but it can be a challenging thing and keep us stuck. It's a way to get from your mind down to your gut and your essential self, your soulful self, that true nature that you are, that we all are. So I'm just going to keep rolling on here unless you two have questions for me.
So what shifted within you? Because it's interesting. The first time you were exposed to Dr. Sue's teachings, it didn't seem to resonate, and then a few years later, it did. So what do you think caused the shift in you to see it differently?
It's hard to pinpoint that. However, I think it's a matter of my energy, which we'll talk about in a moment. Energy is a big part of Dr. Sue's work, was in alignment and in a place that it could actually hear and understand and realize that this was for me. This was a teaching that was for me. So, I mean, between that time, a lot of things occurred. Right. There was a hard divorce. There was loss. There was moving. There was, a lot of things in my life that occurred in between those two times. Right. So there's not just one thing. It's a life of things, many things that happened.
I think that's so important because sometimes we're just not ready. And when we look at anything coming from that place of not being ready, we think it's never going to be right for us. And I love that you were open enough to be willing to look at it with fresh eyes.
Right.
And that's just a beautiful lesson for all of us.
Well, and thank you for pointing that out because it's true. I mean, the minute if my mind frames something as never, I've been through enough things in my life to know never say never. Things change constantly. That's what we can count on, that things change. And are we going to be masters of that change? That remains to be seen. If you practice these practices, you can be a master of these things.
So let me ask you a question. I had one of the listeners write during the week that they were wondering how to how to change the energy, like how you change an energy around family and family members and conflict. Mm-hmm. When you love your family, but you know that you're not meeting in the same pathway.
Yes, that's a great question. I know that everybody on this call has been in a room when somebody walked in that room and you could feel their energy instantly. So what it is we are the ones that are bringing the energy to that room. If someone walks in the room and they're in a funky place, you can totally, with your energy, stay in your great loving space, even though someone's bringing in something that's feeling tweaky. Technical term. I
was just going to say, that's a technical spiritual term.
That's right. But so this is what I know, Robin. when it comes to my family, I have a belief that I chose them. My soul chose these people to be in my life so that I could be my truly expanded self. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some people that have had family members that have done horrific and tragic things to their other family members. I get that. And I recognize that anytime things happen in my life, any situation, that it is there for me to know myself as the energetic being that I am. Mm. In other words, what's happening out in the world that looks like something that we might quantify it as good or bad, good or evil, the truth is my internal world of being an energy being is always all right. Yeah. I'm always safe. I'm Reverend TJ, one of the revs from Agape Bay Area, has something called unharmable. Mm-hmm. My soul, my nature, my heart is unharmable. And if I know that, if I really, really know that, yeah, then these people that are family members that come in that have opposing beliefs or thoughts about whatever it is, about your life, about the political life out there, about the world that we see out there, mm-hmm. I can stay centered in what I know to be true. And I can love them because they are also a being of light. And just because they have this opposing nature, let's say, it doesn't matter because I know what my truth is. And I'm going to tell you that, 100% of any changes in our life that we want to make are doable if we stay centered in that nature, that true nature of ourselves, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your essential self, your soulful self, that place that knows what it knows, what it knows. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to put words to it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And Carol said, my gut said pain. And you're in pain because it's hard to remember.
Right. So this is what I do. The first thing I do is I acknowledge that pain is there. The worst thing that I have done in the past is try to bypass. We call that a spiritual bypass. You can do a spiritual bypass in many ways. You can, start doing affirmations and meditation and listen to upbeat music and all that stuff. And that's great. Those are great tools. However, you don't honor the pain that you are feeling and let yourself feel it, then it's never going to go away. So it's always there. And that's one of the hardest things for my life that I've done for myself is allow myself to acknowledge the story, acknowledge the pain, let myself feel it, and then move on. And feeling it can be no fun, but I'll tell you what, I really feel that I'm living my life fully if I'm feeling everything, the joy, the pain, the ups and downs, the in-betweens. That's the juice of life to me. And if I'm always trying to put my hand up when something doesn't feel good, then I get stuck in that place.
Yeah. It just reminded me of the movie that we had for our Reel to Reel segment last Friday. And for those of you who joined us, you'll remember we watched a movie called A Rumor of Angels. And it was about an older woman who befriended a young boy who was dealing with the grief of his mom dying several years prior. And there's a really beautiful scene in the movie where, the young boy, he was probably 10, 12-ish in the movie. And he had never felt the feelings associated with it. It was all buried. He was never given permission, and was dealing with all kinds of trauma as a result. And there's a beautiful scene where Vanessa Redgrave kind of forces him to experience the feelings, and only then he's able to move beyond. And it flowed so perfectly with what you just said.
Right. Yeah.
So how can you tell when you're in spiritual bypass?
That's a great question. I'm just going to think about how I know. This is what I'm going to say. Sometimes spiritual bypass can come in very handy when you've got stuff to do. Right? So if I am at an event and something triggers me, and I recognize that I'm triggered and that there's pain there, I can't always deal with that in that moment, right? So what I do is I kind of have this internal bookmark. I bookmark it. I might make a note in my phone and say, triggered, feeling this. I might even put it on my calendar for the next day. Yeah. And or after the event. And that way I'm not, thinking that my memory is going to remember it, because you know what? My mind wants to stay away from pain. Right? We all don't want to go into pain. But if I put it on here and I bookmark it, and it brings me back there when I'm done with the event, then I can go sit with that pain. And a lot of the Dr. Sue work is about letting yourself experience the pain, but have the awareness of where it lands in your body, in your energy system, so that you can go work with your energy system to clear it. And that's again, part of the profound work of the energy codes. So that's what I do. I bookmark it and I move on. I get whatever needs to be done, and I go back to it later.
That's great. That's a great tip. A great tip so you make it a practice.
Right. Yes.
That's
and
beautiful.
That's one of the things that's very important about all of this. Everything's a practice. Do I do it 100% right? No, but I'm always practicing it. Yeah. I'm always practicing my practice with every breath. Every time I take my dogs out, every time, I'm in a store at a market, there's always opportunities. There's always opportunities to practice my practice.
They never stop.
The market, and the guy in front of me has his mask right below his nose, and I'm like, okay, I get to practice my practice, because I'm not here to judge that fellow. I am here to practice my practice, and I get to say, in that moment, I might have the time, if it's a long line, to go, okay, where do I feel that in my energy system? I don't have to know the exact story as to why I'm triggered. That is the other profound reason I study Dr. Sue. You don't have to know that. You don't have to go to therapy for 20 years. I can pinpoint it in my energetic system and work with it from there. And I can't even go into all the practices she has. There's many, and we're going to show you guys a little bit later where you can access this information.
So it's so cool what you just said, because what you're saying is you don't necessarily need a healer once you understand these tools and techniques. You can be your own healer to kind of move that energy out, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I love healers. Robin, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
I love healers. I consider myself a healer. I know many healers that do profound work. And I would say for myself that going to a healer is a great gift that I give to myself. I don't not do it, and it's not required for me to do my own healing. That's a lot of what I spoke about in my thesis. So it's really, really important to understand that our bodies, our energy fields are pliable. Like Deepak Chopra talks about, our cells are constantly regenerating. And what happens is we regenerate the same challenges over and over because of that subconscious stuff. Mm. So when we work at a place where we're pulling out those weeds from the subconscious, it gives our regeneration a new way to show up. And yes, Robin.
And I was just gonna add to what you're saying, because I really had this realization the other day, when I'm repeatedly triggered by I hate to say this on film, on tape, being recorded, but by working on tolerance, on diversity issues, and it's a much longer conversation, but part of that reason is because I've been doing it all my life. I've been doing it for so long, and you know, it feels like such a battle. And please don't anyone comment about it, because I love everyone. I'm really, but it's not about that. But I was praying about it, and I was praying with people, and when it came time to pray for me, I was praying, you know, about the triggers, and in the prayer I said, you know what, maybe I need to be triggered. I'm praying for these triggers. This is what moves me. You know, so like when I could hear it and reframe it, it became a whole different energetic thing, you know? Yes. So it's like, you know, we have these words we use, and it's not always bad, you know, to be triggered, especially when it brings up an awareness, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I you know, thank you for saying that, Robin, and thank you for being authentic and vulnerable about something that you felt like was hard to say, because, you know, it's only us humans that put a good or bad label on everything. You know, the truth is, a trigger is absolutely necessary for our unfoldment, for our expansion, for our good. So I do that constantly. If I find myself going down having a negative thought, like, I can catch it instantly, and I can say, oh, well, isn't that interesting that you showed up? Mm-hmm. What am I to do? Where am I, you know, what's mine to do with this? And for me, I go back to my body and check my energy system to see what's there. Maybe I don't have time in that instance, but I can at least take a moment and be grateful that I caught it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well,
so go ahead, Robin.
I want you to tell us more about that, because I know that it's really where, you know, all of it comes together and meets, you know, spirituality and science and medicine and all of that. And so tell us, oh, Cindy.
Oh, wise one. So, like I said, energy is very, very important. Everyone is energy. There's dense energy and there's less dense energy. And when we get born into these fabulous body temples, we are energy in form. And the thing is that this energy that we are is unlimited. It's unlimited. And what happens is we get here on this earth and things happen. Traumas, dramas, adults telling us we are something that maybe we're not. These things happen. Experiences happen. And when those happen and get lodged in our subconscious, our energy is not going to flow smoothly. It's going to have a wobble in it. So actually, can you put up that graphic that I had given you?
Yes, let me find it. There. This one?
There we go. Yes, perfect. So the top left image is the energy comes from above and it goes into our body and it bounces off the earth and it comes back up and it makes this beautiful energy system around us. The one on the right is showing the energy coming in, and those little black streaks are those unconscious things that happen, the traumas and dramas and things that happen in our life that we don't even realize are there. And what happens is then the energy starts to wobble. So the thing that I want you to know about that is you can have a perfect flow in one area of your life and a wobble in another. So I don't know any one human being that has a perfect flow. Maybe there's a few people I know that probably have it 90% of the time. Maybe Dr. Sue, maybe Reverend Michael, maybe there's other people. But the truth is, this is what we are. This is what we're made of this energy. And in order for us to clear that gunk or those black marks that you see there, it's not really clearing. It's like imagine a toaster that's not plugged in. So a toaster that isn't plugged in still can toast, but it needs to be plugged in. So what happens is we have you can take that graphic down now. So we have these connections, right? And the connections, they get broken. And we just need to reconnect them. So what I love about this teaching is that you and everybody on here has not done something wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. We are all beautiful, bright, energetic beings, and our connections have gotten disconnected. That's all. And when I heard that and when I really understood it and took it to heart, it just gave me a moment to give myself a break. And anytime I can give myself a break and be gentle with myself, I'm a spiritual being of light, living this human existence, knowing that I'm doing exactly what I'm here to do. I'm being aware. I'm reconnecting those disconnections. I'm sharing my light with all of you. That's what I'm here to do. But the science is profound when it comes to understanding what we are made of. And if we don't really understand that we're energy and we're walking around as these, forms without that, it really limits us. Yeah, you can work out your muscles and go running and get better physically. But if it's not connected with your heart and your gut and your mind, then things are going to be in that kind of wobble around as these, forms without that. It really interesting.
Where's that coming from?
You can work out your muscles and I don't know, get better physically. But if it's not connected with I'm hearing myself.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's all energy, right?
Exactly. So
I would love it if you guys would give me a moment to just teach a little about some of the breath work that we can do to keep ourselves connected to that power of energy that we are. They're pretty basic and they won't take that long. So do either of you have a question for me before we continue?
No, I just wanted just share a couple of, we've had several comments come through. So hi, Gil. Gil joined us a little while ago. And
I don't really think it's Gil, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Giovanni because they spelled my name wrong. Or it could be
yes. So Bonnie,
I'm on to you, family.
So Bonnie shared a little while back when you brought up the idea of being unharmable. And my heart is unharmable is a powerful statement and a powerful state of being. Love that. And Bonnie also loved traumas and dramas. And Anna Maria, hey Anna Maria, she's shared that I sometimes feel like I've done something wrong when I get a repeated trigger. So how would you suggest, if something is continually showing up? You brought up masks earlier, which is, I think, an opportunity many of us have challenges with, either folks wearing them or folks not wearing them.
Right.
And so how do you approach something from an energy code perspective when we continue to get triggered over and over by the same thing?
Right. So the first place I would go is I would sit down and I would think of that trigger, and I would scan my body and see where it lands in my body, in my energy system. And then I would take whatever that is, I would allow myself to feel it and see if there's a story that I've made up about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes we make up all kinds of stories about, things. I would allow myself that time, and then I would do my breath work into that area that is welled up, that is maybe disconnected. And there's a few different ways you can do it. One way is there's this thing called love triage that she does, and it's one of my favorite practices. I wasn't going to do that today, but I can just explain it real quick. Basically, when we think of the person that we love the most on this planet, or maybe a dog, or maybe a scene at an ocean or in the mountains, something that we love, when we feel that love, we can amplify that. We can turn it up because we have that power to do that. Then we can apply that love onto that area that feels like it's triggered, that place in our body that we noticed that's where it was. So we can transmute whatever is going on there with love. Love is extremely powerful. It's a very powerful, the highest powered vibration that you can have. So it's called love triage, and I'll show you guys where to find these kind of things in the book study. But that's one thing that I would do. And I also can see myself, if it's a trigger that happens over and over, of just asking myself, what is it that I'm to learn from this? What is mine to do because I keep going back to this place? Maybe there's something trying to come through you around this. Maybe it's sitting down and writing a story or creating something. Maybe it's going out there and marching or demonstrating, whatever. What is yours to do when it comes to this? So it's trying to get your attention. Listen.
That's wonderful. So I have a follow-up question on that, on what you just shared. So I know for me, when I do similar practices of feeling into my body, right. That sometimes I'll focus on one area where I'm feeling it, feeling that kind of dense energy, if you will. Right. And then I notice it leaves where it was and moves to a whole new place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like I'm having to chase that energy around my body to figure out what's going on, and would love to hear your thoughts on do you come across that with energy work? And sorry, by the way, Anna Maria says thank you.
Yes. Yes. And again, I feel like it's an opportunity for transformation. So one thing you just said was you're trying to figure it out. So the minute you try to figure out anything, you're in your mind.
Yep.
You're not in your body. So the first thing to do is to get yourself back into your heart, into your gut. Yeah. And when you're in those places, my friend, a lot of times things don't always make sense. They just don't make sense.
I know that for sure.
Right. So the minute we try to stop figuring it out, things will probably, calm down. And it's true. I do a body scan at night from the tips of my toes to the top of my head, and I just see what's there, what's going on. And sometimes I bounce around to different places. I'll work on my knee. My knee feels good. Okay, I'm ready to go to sleep. And my elbow is now feeling, wonky. And I have to go there. I just keep breathing into it and doing my work. And a lot of times that I'm probably falling off to sleep if I'm doing it before bed. But I just keep with it. And I don't, I just be very gentle with myself and not judge that it's bouncing around. Just be interested. Just be curious.
That's
just,
great.
Stay out of your head. Just keep it in your body. Keep giving those areas love, love, love. Just focusing that love on those areas.
And don't resist wherever it's moving to.
Right.
That's what I've had to learn myself. Is don't resist when it bounces.
That whole adage, whatever you resist will persist. Yep.
100%. I keep trying to fool it and it hasn't worked.
But I love what you said about being curious. Be curious. That's one of the main things I think of when I'm doing practitioner work, is just be curious. And I was thinking when you were saying that it's like going back to that place of beginner's learning, and really not knowing anything, because as soon as you're in your head as well.
Right. Right.
So just be curious. And we're always trying to figure out why and what and how. And we think we should know so much more than we really need to know, but right. I mean, being curious keeps you in that open state, with everything, your body or with life, period.
I love what you just said, Robin, because it's so true. And it's almost like we think we need to know with here. And in reality, we need to know here, like in our hearts, right? Because our hearts are where that kind of, that true knowledge, if I can put it that way, that knowledge that comes without knowing, or that space of knowing that I know, which you shared earlier, Rev Cindy. And so for me, that's a continual battle, as Robin knows, to get out of my, or like to get and stay out of my head, because I'm a pit bull.
Yeah, you're very logical. And what I realized when you were saying that, Cindy, is that my husband's the same way. He always wants to know why and how. And I'm like, I don't know. And it makes him crazy. But what I realize is that because he's also so heart-based, I think when he gets mad that he doesn't know why, it's really because he's fighting between his head and his heart. Mm-hmm. I usually know it has nothing to do with me, but I think that when one is in that state, it's like you're fighting with yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So
I speak from my own experience, 100%.
Yes. So there's this saying in this work of don't name it, feel it.
That's great.
So that's what I do, is if I'm like finding myself in my own battle, I'm like, knock it off. Knock it off, girlfriend. Stop trying to name it. Stop trying to quantify it and make a story about it. Just feel it. Just sit down. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. Just get myself to sit my butt down in my chair and feel it.
Preach it, sister.
To the beginning of the conversation, right?
100%.
Full circle. We got to just feel what we feel.
Yeah.
And cut ourselves break and bring gentleness and love to all these things that are going on with us. That's the best way to get at this stuff.
Yeah.
And to do your work, do your practices. We're going to share, the links to some of Dr. Sue's work. If you haven't heard of her before, go on YouTube, go online, find her work. And at Agape Bay Area next week, not this Sunday, next Sunday, February 14th. Yeah, Valentine's Day. Dr. Sue is doing our inspirational talk.
Yes.
So you can go to the Agape Bay Area website and click on the link to go on Facebook, on Zoom, or you can stream it through Facebook. But definitely come check out Dr. Sue.
That sounds fantastic.
And and Reverend Joe and Reverend Verona, we're all there. Robin, our wonderful practitioner. So come play.
Yeah, it's a party.
So let me just jump into some comments. Anna Maria says, I can relate to your husband, Robin. And Bonnie shared a little while back, she's ready to give love triage a try. And thank you for the kind words, Bonnie.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah. So should we jump into a little bit of breath work?
Sure, we can absolutely do that.
Okay. Tell me what you need me to put up, or if anything.
So I'm not going to have you put up anything.
Okay.
What I want to preface this with is there's many different breath works available, but what I want to do right now with you is a breath work that really helps you get into your inner knowing and gives you a place to come from your own power to create your life the way you want it to be. So we're going to be working with the chakras. So first of all, I want you to just kind of close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And just consciously breathe. And I want you to breathe through your nose and not your mouth. Breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose. And I just want you to just keep doing that. And we're going to work with the solar plexus. You know, that place that if someone talked to you right there, you'd lose your breath right there. That's the spot that we're going to breathe into. So we're going to allow the breath come in from above. Imagine through your crown chakra that the breath is coming in from above. And when you breathe in, your belly expands, but we're really going to focus on that place where the solar plexus is. Let that place expand to the size of a grapefruit. You don't have to see it, just if you can just imagine it. Imagine you've breathed in the size of a grapefruit to the size of to right where your solar plexus is. And then when you exhale, you breathe out through your nose, letting the breath go down through your legs to the size of a baseball. So you're going to keep this in mind as we go in and out. And I'll guide you through it. So we're going to take our first breath in through our nose to the size of grapefruit. Hold it for a few seconds. And exhale down your legs just to the size of a baseball. Breathe in through your feet, letting that breath come all the way up to your solar plexus, size of a grapefruit. And exhale through the top of your head, size of a baseball. We're going to do this a couple more times. Breathe in to your solar plexus, the size of a grapefruit. Also make sure that your shoulders are back, your heart is open. And then exhale down through your legs, just to the size of the baseball. Breathe in through your legs, all the way up your torso to your solar plexus, the size of a grapefruit. And exhale above to the size of a baseball. And here's the last one. Breathe in through your crown to the size of a grapefruit and hold it. And exhale down. Last breath in through Mother Earth, through your feet, up your torso into your solar plexus. Size of a grapefruit. And exhale above to the size of a baseball. And now just let everything go and just go back to your normal breath. And one more breath that I'll teach you right here and right now is called Buddha belly breath. It's very simple. We're going to breathe in through our nose. Again, we're breathing in and out through our nose, not our mouth. Breathe in through your nose and let your belly expand. Nobody's watching you. And then hold it in. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale. Slowly. And breathe in from below. Let your belly expand. Fill it with all that air. And hold it for as long as you can. And exhale slowly, very slowly, above through your crown. And let's do that one more time. Breathe in from above. Big belly, hold it. And when you're ready, you want to breathe below. And just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And what I'm going to say about these breath works, if you are full tilt in a wobble, if that's all you did was do this conscious breathing, it'll bring you home. Mm. It'll bring you to your gut knowing, your wisdom. It'll bring you to your own power. And I find myself doing it all the time because I've been practicing this for 4 years. So when things are really going wacky, the first place I go, the easiest place for me is to go with my breath work. I do it when I'm walking. I do it when I'm with people. I'm doing it. I do it when I'm out in public and I'm like, seeing what's going on. I make sure that I always consciously breathe. It's very, very powerful. And, breath is life. And life is breath. And if we do it consciously, it can change and transmute and really reconnect those broken connections that we have from our past. There's so much more to learn and reach out to me because I will be getting some book studies going in the near future. I have 2 different people that I play with in this arena. Different partners that I do book studies with. And I'd love to be in this conversation with all of you.
Wonderful. So can I share your email address, Rev
yes,
Cindy?
Please
okay.
do.
So for anybody who wants to find out more or stay in touch with Rev Cindy, her email address is now up on the screen, cindy.edelson@gmail.com. And so, if folks are interested in learning more about any upcoming courses or working with you, this is the best way to reach out to you.
Yes. And I'm also on Facebook and I also on Instagram, just Cindy Edelson, and my website, lettingitgo.org. I didn't put it on there, but it's in the works. So I'll make a big announcement when it's ready to be broadcast everywhere, but it's happening. So
yay.
Yes.
Awesome. And so for folks who want to learn more about Sue Morter's work, is this the right website
yes,
to put up the right
what
one?
I want to say about that link, it's very important. So This is her book, Energy Codes, and you can see that it's kind of like my Bible here. It's very well loved. This link connects to this book. So all these practices, the breath work, everything that she teaches, if you go to that website, she'll guide you through everything that she's teaching in this book. It's amazing the amount of work they did.
Wow.
And it's free. You know, you don't have to buy the book to go to that link. I suggest that you do either get the book or the audio book. But there's so many practices there that are valuable and are life-changing. And just a real quick tidbit, one of the things that really changed for me when I started doing her work was I was one of those people that didn't speak up at meetings. When I felt like it wasn't the right way to go, I would hold it in because I didn't want to rock the boat. On the Enneagram, I'm a 9, the peacemaker. I didn't want to cause waves. And because of this work, I'm not going to say I never shut up. No, I do shut up sometimes. But when it feels out of alignment with my gut and my heart, there's no problem with me speaking. And that's because of doing this work.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And
so I'm just going to share one comment.
I want to just say with the breathing, I just think it's so important. What I realized, and this is just from doing a little bit of work with Cindy in classes, you know, and even though I've known about Sue Morter for 20 some years, I just a little bit of breath work that we've done in your classes. It's like every now and then I'll realize when I'm doing something, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even breathing. You know, I'm like, it's so shallow. I'm like, it's like we forget, you know, and it's so amazing when you really take that deep breath and continue to take those deep breaths, and just how life is different. So I'm just telling you, if you leave it with nothing from this call but breathing, take a deep breath and enjoy it.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue to Bonnie's comment. Thank you, Rev Cindy. That was subtle, but very effective in releasing tension that had settled in my shoulders and chest.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know, thank you, Bonnie, for saying that. And also, Robin, when we're doing those shallow breaths, we're in total fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in survival mode. We're not really, you know, connected to all the power and energy that we are. So it's great that you notice that. That's the first step.
Yeah, it's so easy to be like, when I know for me, when I'm like this, my breathing goes out the window.
When I ride my bike, sometimes I find my shoulders up like this. If I'm going down a downhill, I'm like, wait a minute, just breathe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and then there was, if this was the other link you wanted to share. So is this where folks can get more info on
that's kind of
exercises?
Right. That's kind of a drilling down to that other link that we gave them. If you go to that main link that you already gave them, they'll see this.
Okay, perfect.
There's a link for every code.
Okay, perfect. So let me put that one back up. So
I just want to share that Carol somehow got kicked off of the link and is now on YouTube, and she couldn't comment. And she wrote to me and said that there's tears in her eyes and that she really wished she'd been there to comment, and that this is all so beautiful. We're beautiful women, and she feels very loved.
Oh,
you are loved, Carol.
Yes. Thank you for being here, Carol.
Absolutely.
I feel your heart.
Yeah. Okay. Did we miss anything, Rev Cindy?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I had a blast with you.
This has been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, you're welcome back anytime.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely.
I'll take you up on that.
Okay. So should we chat briefly about our upcoming class, Robin?
Yes, we should, because all of you all out there should be there.
Yes. So here's a little flyer. You want to tell folks a little bit about it?
Our upcoming classes are they're not really classes. It's like if you want to have fun and go to the movies like we used to in the olden days, like with a friend where you could like chit chat about it afterwards, then you need to join us on these Sundays coming up in February, starting February 28th. And what we're going to do is just take a spiritual look at the movies and see where, you know, possibly some things we didn't see before when we've seen some of these movies, and just enjoy dissecting the plot and the characters and the life lessons and all the things, you know, the hero's journey, and just see what we can take away from that to for our own lives and just for fun.
Absolutely.
So if you want to join us, you can find it on Eventbrite under Reel to Reel. You could go to a link or something there, or you could go to either one of our websites, which are scrolling across the screen now.
Yes. So if you go to Eventbrite and just type in Reel to Reel, you should find it, and it's REEL to REAL. It should show up at the top of your search results, or Robin's and my websites are right there in the sumayawood.com or Blisscipline Journey. Very cool. And before I forget, we have an early bird special that runs through the 15th of February, so a week from Monday. And we have a special extra bonus that if you sign up with a friend, you can save 25% on your registration. So if you have a bestie that you love watching movies with and talking about them, bring them along and join us for a bit of fun. Oh, hi, puppy.
She was getting restless, so.
Aw, she needed a mama cuddle.
Yes. She wants a WALK.
The other thing is we're sharing part of the proceeds of this will go to the Agape Bay Area Center. So,
absolutely. Very exciting.
So yeah, it's all very exciting, very fun.
Yes.
I think that's it. Except for next week. Next week we are on love. So eat, love, pray.
Yes.
We're on love. And our guest will be Joan Stedman, who is a mystic and just an amazing person, and you don't want to miss her.
No. She is wonderful. So before we jump off, if you liked today's show, smash that like button, share it with your friends. And if you're on YouTube, just subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified for any future lives. If you are on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to follow our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/girlsbehavingmetaphysically, and you will get all the notifications whenever we go live, which is every Friday at 2:30 Pacific.
And I know it sounds like a lot to do, but you know, one day we're going to have this spiritual dictionary that we'll give you for free. We've got Tweaky, and what did we get last week? Scrunchy?
Wonky?
No, Scrunchy. Wasn't it Scrunchy? Scrunched?
They're scrunched.
Yeah, scrunched. Yeah. So it's a whole new way.
I love it.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend and a fantastic week, and we will see you back here next Friday. Take care. Lots of love.
Thanks for having me again.